But hello friends, Mama Fox here. This is kind of a different video today because I'm trying out a new tripod because my daughter broke the tripod that I had. But I just got this new tripod from Five Below. And it has a light attached, which is really nice because this like apartment I'm living in does not have good lighting. But unfortunately, the light is kind of reflecting into my glasses, as you can see. I'm going to be ordering contacts in the very near future, but I guess for the time being, I'll keep using this tripod, and hopefully the light reflecting into my glasses won't be too distracting. I'll try to get my head at the right angle. Toddler problems, what can you do? Okay. But like I said, my goal is to post a video every week, so but this one might not be perfect, but here we go. For today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to lower your grocery bill, because I keep hearing on the news, and of course if you've ever been to the grocery store in the past month or two, but you have realized grocery prices have definitely gone up, and people keep giving tips on how to lower your grocery bill, and here is a few tips that I've realized, because we are a family of three, me, my husband, and my daughter. The grocery bills have definitely gone up since November, so I have figured out some little tips that I thought I would pass on to you. But I guess one of the main things I can think of is to try to stay the course. I know when we see grocery prices go up so fast and so much, we kind of want to do something drastic to try to counteract that, but as I see it, that's kind of like going on a fad diet and hoping to lose weight. It doesn't really work out that way, because most likely you're going to keep buying the foods that you typically buy. You just need to figure out how to get those same foods a little bit less. But some people might be trying to learn some new recipes, and if you're someone that likes to learn new recipes, great. But if you're not much of a cook, kind of understand it takes you a few times trying to make a new recipe to get it right. So if you just automatically go out and buy a cookbook and hope to learn some cheap recipes, there's a good chance there's going to be some trial and error, and that might actually end up costing you money. So my kind of tip for you is to try to buy the things that you typically were buying, only get them cheaper. Like another example is, if you're at the grocery store and you typically get peas, but you notice lima beans are on sale, but don't just get the lima beans simply because they're on sale if you don't really like lima beans, you know? Because that would just be, again, kind of wasted money. And also, if you're buying food for your toddler, make sure it's something that you too would also eat, because if your toddler is anything like mine, she is a very picky eater. Now I know exactly what that she's gonna like, but she's kind of an average eater. She eats like protein and vegetables, but yeah, she is very brand but specific. So I kind of have to keep buying those specific brands because I know that is what she's going to eat, even if it is a little bit more. And if I do get a little experimental with something I'm going to give her, I have to make sure it's something that I too can also eat, because personally I don't eat gluten. So if it has gluten and she doesn't eat it and my husband really doesn't eat it either, well then that's just kind of a waste. So but if you're buying food for a toddler, one, make sure it's something you know they're going to eat, and two, make sure it's something that you can eat if they end up not eating it. And most moms may have already learned this, but there is something I like to call a character tax. We've all heard of the pink tax, where women end up paying more for things like pink razors simply because they're pink, or other things that are pink just because they're geared towards women. Well, there's also a character tax. Any kind of grocery with a little character on it, like SpongeBob or Paw Patrol or Frozen, is going to end up costing you more money than getting a simple generic container. This is a perfect example. I took this picture at Kroger like about 2 weeks ago to make my case in point, and you know what? I could hardly get this picture because my daughter kept grabbing at the items. Now, she doesn't even know what SpongeBob or Paw Patrol really are, but just simply seeing the character, she wanted to grab it. And I think that's what these grocery companies are kind of expecting. They're expecting kids to want to buy this item simply because there's this cute little character on it. And because of that, they can upcharge these certain items. But yeah, if you just stick to your basic things like basic cheese, basic applesauce, basic yogurts, you could save a lot of money. And also, but kind of on that same topic, but you should avoid buying overly packaged items. But by this, I mean, like you end up paying more for a box of individual applesauces, but compared to just a simple big jar of applesauce, but kind of like Lunchables. But Lunchables have a ton of packaging, but really it's just cheese and crackers. If you just buy one box of crackers and a box of cheese, it's basically the same thing and it's a lot cheaper. Now, if you're going to be traveling or out on the road for a good chunk of the day, but these little individual containers can actually be handy. But if you're just going to be like around the house all day, just simply have a big container of yogurt or a big container of applesauce, and that is really all but you need. You don't need these little individual containers. But you don't have to throw out stale bread or a stale bagel. You just take a wet paper towel like so, wrap it around the stale pastry or stale bread, put it into the microwave, set it for, 30 seconds or so. And after 30 seconds, take it out. Could be a little steamy, but now it is nice and fluffy. And another tip, but it might be a little bit controversial, is it does not cost more to eat healthy. What actually costs more is but junk food. But if you're always buying things like cookies or chips or candy, that can definitely increase your grocery bill. If you stick to the perimeter, buy things like fruits and vegetables, then meat, then dairy, and then leave the store, that's basically all but you would need for some good healthy meals, and you also would have saved a good chunk on by your grocery bill, but compared to if you had gone down those aisles and had filled up on things like chips and cookies and candy and such. Also, like frozen meals are obviously much more expensive than if you were to just simply cook a simple meal by yourself. Now, honestly, I am not much of a cook. I kind of cook more for survival. Like every week, I kind of buy some chicken, I buy some beef. Like maybe I might buy some macaroni or spaghetti or something. But yeah, but kind of based on those kind of staples, I can usually make meals out of just, like a protein, a vegetable, and a carbohydrate, like rice or bread or something. And that actually makes a good healthy meal, but compared to if you were to get frozen stuff or other things down those snack aisles that you really don't need. But occasionally, you can go down the aisles of the grocery store to buy things like, cereal or other things you possibly might need. But if you kind of stick more to the perimeter, you can get some good healthy meals and save money on your grocery bill. Here is a tip I've learned. Last week I went to a Kroger grocery store that I typically don't go to that often. And as soon as I walked in, I realized that the whole store was under construction because everything was being rearranged. But in fact, as soon as you walk in, it's 8 aisles of booze. I guess that kind of shows the direction our country is going. But anyway, because everything was kind of changed around, I like literally ended up spending like maybe $30 more than I honestly thought I was going to spend in my head. I guess that kind of goes back to the stay the course motto, and don't do anything too jarring or like unusual, because simply being out of my environment, somehow I spent like $30 more, and I don't really know how that happened. So if you stick to the grocery stores you're more used to, that alone will probably save you money as opposed to deviating from your original path. And here's a free tip I just thought of actually. But if you shop at Trader Joe's, but you might already know this, but if you shop at Trader Joe's, they have a very generous return policy. If you buy anything for any reason and you don't like it, you can always bring it back. Most grocery stores don't have that policy. And finally, my last tip, I'm sure a lot of people are going to like this, is to buy a bottle of wine. Now stay with me on this, because as I see it, what is the alternative? You have to connect with your husband or your boyfriend or your significant other, and the alternative is going out to a restaurant or going out to a bar where a glass of wine would cost you the same as a bottle of wine from the grocery store, if not more. So I fully endorse buying a cheap bottle of wine. Now, I used to work at a specialty grocery store that specialized in wines from throughout the world. And time after time, our best-selling bottle of wine, guess what? It was actually Barefoot. Yes, that $5.99 cheap bottle of wine was always our best seller. So yeah, and if you buy the bottle of wine, yes, some wine connoisseurs might slap me in the face, but yes, if you buy the bottle of wine, that can stay in your refrigerator for a couple of weeks at a time. It doesn't go bad. And of course, you can't put a price on a little me time after your child goes to bed, like I'm doing tonight. So, cheers. And I guess the last thing is just to, stay optimistic. I'm sure grocery prices are going to get back to normal at some point in the future. Stuff like this has happened before. It's probably going to happen again. So just stay optimistic and try to stay the course. And but once again, thank you for stopping by my channel. If you like my videos, click like and subscribe, because that's very good for the YouTube algorithm. And I will see you next week. Bye.